since we're on our way to Edinburgh right now, I thought I would answer a few questions, because today I posted the first 3 pictures from the wedding on my Instagram, which, if you're not following me, by the way, you should be. And I also put on my stories, like, if you guys have any questions, let me know. And then this seemed like the perfect opportunity. Now, obviously, right now, my husband is not comfortable with being on camera or like being on Instagram and stuff, which is fine. Like I'm cool with that. I don't really mind. Like, you know, it's not an easy thing to put yourself out there. So I mean, one day maybe he will be, one day he won't. Maybe he won't. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, at the end of the day, he's just going to be in the background. So if you hear him talking now and again, then that is my husband. So I'm really hoping that it's not too shaky. But I've got my camera like on a tripod, but there's nowhere to put the tripod, so I'm holding it. What I decided to do, because I've got like quite a few questions, I decided to answer as many of the like general questions as I can. The ones about wedding dress shopping and actually planning, I mean, I might talk a bit about planning now, but the ones about like wedding dress shopping, that's going to be for a separate video. And I'm going to do a separate video maybe on the companies that I worked with as well, and that sort of experience. I don't think I'm going to be able to include everything in this one video here. It'll be too long and boring otherwise. Question number 1 is thoughts about being a hijabi bride. So this is a really good question and a good one to start on, because for me, like, the decision to keep my hijab on versus like taking it off and being more of a traditional Pakistani bride, like, that was quite a hard decision. A lot of people who've got married recently who are hijabis, they're taking their hijab off, and that's absolutely, you know, like, that's their choice. That's fine, because it's like a one-day thing. You know, it's your wedding day, you want to look and feel most comfortable, and I don't know, like, look your best, basically. And for me, like, I actually got my hair done properly and whatever, like, the week before the wedding, but I just feel like, because I've worn hijab now, like, out and about for so long, I wouldn't feel myself without some sort of hijab covering. But at the same time, I still wanted to like be able to wear like bridal jewelry and stuff. Like, as a hijabi, you can only really wear rings and bracelets, kind of, but you can't really wear like earrings and necklaces and whatever. So yeah, I kind of was like, I like the idea of covering my hair but still having this traditional bridal dupatta on. So when I booked a hijab stylist, because I really can't, you guys know, like, literally even now I've just thrown my hijab on, stuck a pin in, like, that's just me. Like, I'm not like someone who can spend ages and ages on my hijab. So I definitely knew I needed a bridal hijab stylist. And I was just like, basically what helped me decide was just looking at Instagram, seeing different styles, thinking like what would suit me. I think the biggest thing for me was obviously, like, I wear like full hijab, like, around my face, and you guys would know, if you're also hijabis, that this massively contours your face. It becomes like a bit of a, you know, tool for hiding a double chin. So, and obviously, like, I knew as well that I didn't want to wear like a proper like this kind of hijab for the wedding, because I wanted to show my necklace, you know, that sort of thing. So I was a bit worried about that, like having my double chin out or whatever. But to be honest, like, I had lost a bit of weight before the wedding unintentionally, so it was cool. And then on the day, the lady who did my hijab styling, her name is Rima, and she was really, really lovely, actually, mashallah. Like, we ended up having to be a bit late because of this, that and the other, various things happened, and she waited around, and she waited for ages. Even though she had a wedding to go to herself, she was still there for a really long time, even when the barat were coming and everyone had left me and I was just literally by myself in the room. She was like, do you want me to wait with you, like, until like someone can come and sit with you? And I was like, it's just so sweet, Masha. She's really sweet. I would very much recommend her. And the other thing is, she does such a good job at like pinning my hair back, making all the under volume like pinned in securely, doing the turban, and then really pinning my scarf on and around my face. And that is like really, really important, obviously, because like the scarf's quite heavy. I mean, my hijabi bridal scarf is like not crazy heavy, but it is pretty heavy. Like, and I did definitely need some support and help with someone who knew what they were doing. So yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, after the wedding, like the next day when photos started coming in, I was like asking Iqra as well. I was just like, do you think I made the right choice? I don't know. Like, I didn't look how I had anticipated to look, in a way. Like, that sounds a bit weird. Like, I probably should have imagined looking like that, but I just didn't. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I think it turned out okay in the end. Like, he's just nodding at me like, yeah. I think I looked different, but I didn't look like weird. I hope I didn't look weird anyway. I felt like I still remain true to myself essentially, but it is a big decision. I also think a part of the reason why I did it as well, to be honest, was because I knew I wanted to share like bits and pieces of the wedding on my socials, and yes, my Instagram is like ladies only and whatever, but still I just wouldn't feel comfortable showing my hair on social media at all at this point in my life. That could change. Like, people, you know, women, like, as you guys all know, like, people go through changes and stuff, like, you know, stuff happens and you change your mindset and whatever. Right now, like, this is my comfort zone. Like, my hijab is like part of me, it's part of my identity. So yeah, alhamdulillah, like, I'm feeling really happy about the decision now. About the walima now, because that's in a fortnight, inshallah, and like how I'm gonna do my scarf then, because the walima will be in Scotland, which is where my husband is from, and there's no hijab stylist as far as I can tell, and I've done a lot of research, asked around and stuff. I could potentially hire one from down south, but it would cost a bomb, like, in travel expenses to get them here, so I'm gonna have to try and sort of practice. And the thing is, I've got all the pins and stuff from my last one, so I'm gonna try and see what I can do. That was one question. What the hell? This video is gonna be so long. Also, I'm not gonna film this like continuously, because like I feel a bit bad. Just like the first time I'm like in the car on a long trip with just my husband and I, and it's a bit rude. The next question is, how did you get so organised? So, to be honest with you, like, from planning the wedding to the actual wedding, we literally had like 3 or 4 months. It was not a long time at all. Luckily, I had like the end of summer holidays, so that sort of time I spent looking at venues, visiting different venues, like phoning up companies. Like, as a teacher, like, the time you have off is literally gold dust, so I was really like determined to find a venue within that time. I didn't find the venue in the end, so the venue I went with was Ariana Banqueting Hall, which is in North London. They have a sister company, Ariana Gardens in Essex, which is the original venue that I saw, and the person that I like worked with throughout this whole thing was a guy called Riaz. He's kind of like a manager basically for those 2 companies, and they're opening a 3rd venue in East London, I think, next summer. So I had looked at their Instagram, looked at their websites, and it seemed pretty good. Like, the Gardens venue definitely appealed to me. It's very unique, very quirky. If you're going to have a segregated wedding or a summer wedding, I 100% recommend you check out Gardens. It's really cool, it's really different. But in the end, we went for the banqueting hall because Essex is still pretty far. Like, obviously, like, I'm not from London, I'm from Buckinghamshire, but even for my London family, Essex is still a little bit far. And also, it just wasn't a great winter wedding venue. Like, whereas actually the banqueting hall, like, although it's a bit of a mission to get to, and you get like the signposting is really not that great, but the inside of the hall is nice, it's airy, the ceilings aren't that high, but there's like loads and loads of room. My numbers are 350 people, so not like a huge amount at all for an Asian wedding, and the hall could actually hold around 700, he said, but that's if you squashed in tables. Like, I feel like we used our space really well for the wedding. I'll try and put in some clips here and there as well, because we had an area for the children to like do their own thing in, which was my idea, and like just basically like one long table with like colouring pencils and like colouring pictures and things like that, stuff that like kids want to do, because, you know, like, unless it's like your brother or sister or your close auntie's weddings are really boring for a kid, so I really wanted like a kids area. And then at the back there's like this little conservatory bit, and that's where the chocolate fountain was and the magic mirror was as well. Like I said, I will talk about all vendors in another video, but essentially the biggest thing was finding a venue, really. Once you found a venue, you can plan everything else around that, but until you've got a venue and a date down, it's very hard to do that. And the way I got organised at all was by getting a wedding planning book. This one is the one I used. It's very inexpensive, it's from Primark. I said yes, and it's just really cool because it's got all these different tabs in it, like budget, invitations, venue, gift list, dress, entertainment. So it's literally just a notebook. You don't have to buy it like a fancy notebook. This was like £5 or whatever. just use a notebook and basically write every single thing down. Like as soon as you've emailed somebody, write it down, date that you emailed and what you emailed them, and then when they respond back to you, write down what they said, blah blah blah. Like that, the only way to like organize a wedding, especially when you're working full time, is to write everything down and keep it all together. This book really did help actually a lot, and I would recommend it to anyone planning a wedding. Just make sure that you stay organized and on top of what you're doing, because obviously, for example, things like finding a magic mirror, which I knew I wanted, rather than a photo booth. There's so many different companies that do them these days, especially if you're getting married in London or somewhere central like that. So you want to get the best price possible, get the best company possible, get a company that's got a good reputation. So I sent the same email out to like 5 different companies, wrote it all down, and then as soon as they got back to me with their quotes and their prices, timings, I wrote that down as well. And then based on that, it was just really easy to choose who I wanted to go with. And then also things like when you start paying off for things and you start paying deposits to obviously book your thing in place, you need to know like how much money you owe them later on and when they want it. Some people want it the week of the wedding, some people want it the day of the wedding, which is really not that helpful, honestly. Like when you're trying to enjoy your wedding and then they're like, oh, you haven't paid for this bit yet, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I need to do that. But at the same time, you don't really want to give 100% of the money unless you had the service, if that makes sense. Write down any recommendations, do your research, use Instagram. Instagram's such a good tool actually for like wedding planning and really like helping to get your ideas together. I don't personally use Pinterest. Pinterest is not for me. So I just asked my husband, and basically with my family, it was our first big wedding in like 17 years, like because I'm the oldest grandchild, so we really didn't have much idea of what we were doing at all. Whereas with my husband, he's got older siblings who've got married already, and he was also quite, what's the right word, like you played quite an important role. Yeah, you were involved. Yeah, he was involved a lot in their weddings, so he saw like what it took to sort of do it. Okay, hang on, I'm getting a phone call. Some of the questions are very similar, things like finances and that sort of thing, and also there's quite a few questions on like how you emotionally dealt with getting married. Like I feel like as a bride it's a lot more to deal with than a groom, to be honest, but you guys don't really know the full story yet. So some people are asking like, how do you deal with like moving far away from your family? The thing is, I haven't, because basically we got married on 22nd. We have been in Dundee since then. Today is the 31st of December. But next week, inshallah, we're going back to England because I am still working my full-time job. I'm still a teacher at the school, still teaching the same class. Yeah, so my husband is going to be moving down to live with me, which is really obviously different. Like it's not like a traditional thing. But alhamdulillah, he's like very supportive. I'm actually very blessed to have such a supportive and kind life partner. To be honest, like I don't think I would have agreed to marry him if he wasn't. Like that's one of the qualities that, you know, it was important for me anyway. So yeah, he's gonna be moving down, and then we'll see what life takes us after that. Like we haven't sort of set a concrete plan in place. All we know is that life is, you know, like we're both going to be away from our family at some point. That's the thing, when you get married to somebody who lives so far away, you're both going to be going through different emotions, especially missing family and stuff. My in-laws are the sweetest people ever. I feel really bad, like I feel like I hadn't really done enough at all, like whilst I've been here. I've just been like, no, please rest. Like they also know that. So basically I literally worked right up until the day of my wedding. I took a half day on Friday, and then Saturday I got married. Like that's how hard it is when you're a teacher, because you just don't get time off. So you can get like up to 2.5 days off maximum, but I knew I wanted to spend 2 of those days after the walima, because our walima inshallah is soon, and it's on a Sunday, it's not on the holidays. So we're gonna have the walima, and then I needed a bit of time off to recover before I went back to work. So yeah, like it was hard because I was literally working every single day up until the day of the wedding. I didn't really get a break. But my in-laws have been so wonderful. Like I feel like they're like already my family. Like on the way from London to Scotland, I was sat with my brother-in-laws, and we just spoke for a good few hours, and it was so nice. And yeah, everyone was just very, very, very loving. Like alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I know like people have very different, varying experiences with the family they marry into, but I feel incredibly blessed. And you know, if it'd been a situation where I was actually moving in like permanently full time, I could 100% see it happening and working, which is funny because if you'd asked me that same question like 7 months ago, I'd be like, there's no way I'd ever live with my in-laws. But like after living like any type of in-laws, you know, like not specifically my in-laws, like but any type of in-laws, because you know, I don't know, I just had that mindset, unfortunately. But after staying with them for all this time, alhamdulillah, like they're just amazing, and may Allah Ta'ala always protect them and keep them safe. I mean, so the next question is, how did you find a photographer and what were your main concerns? So I literally use Instagram again to my advantage. I asked you guys like, who would you recommend? I looked at people's wedding pictures, I looked at, you know, who they tagged and things like that, and actually in the end it was Sufi who did my makeup, my wedding makeup. She was posting a bunch of photographers that she recommended, or that she had like people recommended to her, and this particular lady, her name is Amani, she's just so sweet, mashallah, so humble, so lovely. She doesn't have a lot of client pictures on her Instagram, and I got in contact with her just to sort of ask like what her packages were like, and just to see some examples of her work. So I was originally going to book her as my videographer and my photographer, like as a team, and she was like, oh, it's absolutely fine, like here's like my prices and stuff. She's like, but can I call you just so we can have a bit of a chat through things? And honestly, we spoke for like 45 minutes, which is really weird for me because I will only speak on the phone with people that I know very well. I feel very like awkward on the phone. I hate calling people, but with like, that's the thing with Amani, like me and Amani had this like instant connection, like we just got each other. Like I really originally wanted to have my nikah done in the morning so that we could have daylight photos.
Starting route to Princess Street Gardens.
So that we could have daylight photos. That was something that was really
Take the exit to merge onto A82 of Edinburgh.
So daylight photos was something that was very like, I was very passionate about. I was like, I'm not going to put my foot down to anything, but I really want this. You know, to be fair, like to my husband and his family and my family, we really tried to make it work, but in the end it just didn't work. Like to be honest, like you get married in December, it gets dark at like 3:15. Honestly, it's just not worth the hassle of like. So like if you have your nikah done in the morning, you have to have your makeup done by like 10 o'clock, and then that makeup has to last right away to the evening. It was just too much. So in the end that didn't work out. But after speaking to Mani, I knew I definitely wanted to book her and have her as my photographer, because she had the same, first of all, her style of photography is what I definitely vibe towards. Every photographer has a different style, which is why I think Instagram pages are very important. That's basically like a photographer's portfolio. If they're not massive on Instagram, then check out their website, check out other things that they have as their social media, because it's really important that you vibe with those pictures. You know, some photographers are super like got a moody style. Some photographers have got like very bright and oversaturated style. I loved Imani's like more laid back style. It's not too cheesy at all, not too corny, just very casual, and that's definitely was my type of style. Now unfortunately I couldn't book her as my videographer as well, because part of her team were away on holiday, but I knew I definitely wanted to keep her as my photographer. So yeah, basically you just need to make sure that you vibe with the style of the photographer and the videographer. Now with the videography team, they didn't mind that I had picked my photographer, but they do packages, and it is always cheaper, to be honest. It is always cheaper to get a package, like to go with one company and get a package. But having said that, I didn't do that. I had a separate photographer, separate videographers, and you know, I've not seen any of the videography work yet, but I've already, and it's bearing in mind it's just been over a week, I've already got some of the professional photography pictures back that have been edited as well, and I'm so happy with them, alhamdulillah. So definitely do not make the mistake of going for someone who's heavy popular on Instagram, always posting on Instagram. That's like their main focus. There's some videographers and photographers who will literally only work with only cover your wedding if they know that you're gonna let them put everything on their socials. And that's what Amani and I were talking about as well. She was like, the thing is, like, she was like, I would like to put more on social media, but actually that's not important to me. What's more important to me is making sure that my clients are happy, making sure I'm putting enough time into the editing, putting enough time into taking the pictures. I think I was watching quite a few videos as well on like wedding planning and how to like plan a wedding like stress-free and you know, not with a huge budget as well, because like my thing is that even though yes I was the first child to get married and you know like alhamdulillah like money was not a big issue, it's also that thing of it's one day. For me, I just kept thinking it's like it's one day, and yes alhamdulillah it was the happiest day of my whole life, like the most important day of my whole life, but I'm so happy that I personally didn't go for a venue that cost like 30-40 grand, like, you know, like that's like a deposit for a small place to live in. Like that's just my personal view anyway. So set a budget and bear in mind that you might go up or down like 1 or 2 grand, but stick to that budget and be strict with yourself, and that goes the same with anything that you do within that budget. So I had a rough idea of how much I was willing to pay for photography and videography. Bearing in mind mine was only a 1-day event as well. I didn't have a Mendy, it was only a 1-day thing, but you know, some companies will still try and charge you like 5 grand for like a 2-day event or whatever. Like, it's, look around, look at the prices, don't settle for something straight away. Make sure that you've got a really good vibe from that company, that person who you're working with, because at the end of the day, like that day is not going to come back again. So for me, photography was like one of the top 3 most important things within my wedding. Probably photography, me like looking and feeling comfortable like in my outfit, and little things that like help the atmosphere kind of be better, like for example like the magic mirror, that sort of entertainment thing. Those were like the important things for me. For other people it might have been like to hire like the top makeup artist of all time, to have like the best food of all time. I mean, food is important, but yeah, like I said, like everyone's got their own idea of what's like really, really important for their own wedding, and for me photography was top of the list. So it took me a good couple of weeks actually to find a photographer, and I actually even had a photographer come to my house and show me like his work and you know, on his laptop and stuff, but I didn't vibe with him the way I did with Amani, so I didn't hire him. Like I said, thank you for your time, but you know, at the moment it's a no. I'll go back to you though. So obviously you can't also say like, yeah, no, I really like your work, can you like sort of slot me in, because that's their trade at the end of the day. Like, you don't want to be wasting their time. So just be open, be honest, and just be aware that you're not going to find the perfect person straight away, but you will inshallah find it. Someone said, did you consider having a tiny no fuss wedding? So yes, I did. I really honestly considered going to the masjid and having a nikah, and that's it. Like, I was so down for that at one point. I was like, when you start looking into wedding planning, right, and you start looking into the cost of venues, cost of food, cost of your outfit, cost of this, cost of that, like everything adds up. And I think like for my husband, it took him a long time to like get in my head that weddings are just expensive. Like, you have to just accept it. Like, I don't know, like I feel like if I could do it again, would I like go for a really small wedding? No, because I would say like our wedding was like it wasn't a big wedding. Bukhara's point was that, okay, if you get married in a mosque, you're still going to end up spending some extra money on something. For example, like you're still going to want to have like a really nice outfit, because you know, girls want to look nice on their wedding day. So do guys, but girls do especially. Oh, look at that plane. Okay, yeah, so you're going to save like this much money on hiring a hall, but you're still going to be spending money on feeding people and your outfit anyway, so why not spend a bit of extra money and just get a hall in that sense? Or if you're really passionate to have like a nikah done in a mosque, that's absolutely fine. We could have gone the route of doing that and then having a shared walima, but the reason why we didn't, and that's, to be fair, a lot of people do that, they do a very small nikah, very intimate, just with like immediate family, and then they'll do like one event walima shared, split in half. I think that's great. If you can do that, fantastic, that's amazing. The number one reason we couldn't do that is because I'm from down south and he's from up north. Literally, like, there's 6-7 hours between our houses. Like, it's too much to expect, especially older people and younger, like really little babies, and you know, that those sort of family members, to travel so far. And yeah, we did think about doing it halfway, but that's still a long way for certain people in both our families. So for me, yeah, it was important for me to have a wedding of the size that it was. Like, for me, I don't think I would have felt right to have a tiny wedding, like with just like my parents and my siblings and his parents and siblings. Like, that wasn't that for me, that wasn't okay. Like, I definitely wanted to have like my close people there. Alhamdulillah, I knew pretty much everyone at the wedding from my side. Yeah, that's how I wanted it. I wanted people who I had like grown up with, people who seen me grow up, people who I cared about, and people who care about me. At the end of the day, that's who's like most important. I didn't want to have random people there who, you know how like some Pakistanis do it, like they invite like everyone that they know, like they just like long it out just for the numbers. Like, if we wanted to, we could have had a huge wedding in that sense, but that's just not personal to me. And you know, alhamdulillah, like the feedback that we got from the wedding was that it was very fun, very like personal was the main word, and that's what I loved, because that's exactly what I wanted. So it's so easy to like get overwhelmed by the amount of choices there are when you are wedding planning. Like, the choices are endless. You can honestly go for so many different vibes, but I think for me personally, it was most important to have a vibe that I would feel comfortable and happy in on the day, because weddings are full of so much emotion, you know, and I knew I wanted my closest people around me, and that's just not going to be a tiny wedding, because alhamdulillah I've got a big family. So yeah, at the same time I didn't have any like total randomness there, which was nice. Somebody asked, how did you balance your work life with wedding prep, shopping, etc.? Really good question. It was hard. It was very hard. Basically every single weekend from the moment we started planning until the wedding was about the wedding, which made it exciting as well in a way. Like, you know, it wasn't like a regular weekend where you just sit and put your feet up and catch up on Netflix or whatever. Like, I did a lot of work for the wedding at the weekends, and then some work in the evenings as well. And to be honest with you, like, work has been quite stressful recently, so like the wedding was a welcome distraction. So yeah, for me it was quite difficult because I had to work around my job and around the hours. I'd also delegate certain jobs to family, but to be honest, like the little things, the little details, I did myself. And again, it all comes down to keeping yourself organized, using a wedding planning book or something of the sort, keeping lists. I literally would carry my wedding planning book around with me everywhere, to work, back from work. You know, if I was going to a doctor's, I'd have it in my hand so that, you know, any spare time I had, I could be looking over it. And that is why, for me personally, I'm happy that we planned it and had it done within a few months, because I feel like in some instances, the longer you have to plan it, the more stressful it can be. For me, I feel like personally I would feel more stressed out. Like, there'd be so much, I don't know if that makes sense, but personally, yeah, like knowing that the date was coming closer and closer, and knowing that I have to do X, Y and Z helped me. And with Waqar, alhamdulillah, like, he's got his own business, so he could be more flexible. So if he needed to go into work later on, you could do that. Like, and he also did the same thing. Really, he didn't have his own wedding planning book, but he did create lists and set himself to-do lists, and it's all about like small tasks, marginal gains, like getting the little tasks done, and then, you know, your big tasks don't seem as much of a burden because you've got the little things done as well. But mashallah, like with Waqar as well, like they had a lot more events than our side did. So they did like a proper Mendi, like all his boys like did dances, and like, you know, they went all out. Like, they had such an amazing time. Like, I watched all the videos, I finally watched all the videos now, and it looks so good. Like, the atmosphere just looks so great. So imagine that as well, like on top of planning a wedding, like dance practice and all that. But I think that also is what made the atmosphere and what made them have such good memories. And I know now they're all like proper missing it, to be honest. So yeah, it's just working around your own schedule and trying not to look at it as a burden as well, trying to make it, you know, exciting for yourself, thinking like at the end of the day what you're doing is you're planning the start of the rest of your life, like a brand new chapter of your life. And yeah, like I honestly, like I really enjoyed it. And I think you can't let yourself get too stressed. There's obviously gonna be times when you are stressed, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I did cry a few times, you know. I had like 2 bridezilla moments, but alhamdulillah, I was a pretty chill, calm bride, because I just had the mentality that what's meant to be will be. If it's meant to be, it will happen. Like, and Wakara like has, you know, he's more practical. He's like, look, if you want something to go right, you've got to prepare for it, you've got to put the prep in. Like mashallah, he's a very organized person anyway. For me, I knew that if I started stressing about the wedding, I just wouldn't be able to work properly in my job, like my day-to-day job, because that's enough stress as it is. So I tried to keep the balance. The other thing is, like, the last 3 months have been the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Like, you know, we lost my cousin in October, and so like for a good couple of weeks I just had no motivation to do anything at all. Like, just was just like, what's the point of anything, like, you know? So that, I don't know, I feel like we've all been through a lot, and yeah, you just have to kind of pick yourself up and keep going, and ultimately, like, every bride wants to have like the perfect day, but I feel like you're only going to have the perfect day if you set yourself that mindset to have one. You can't expect everything to go 100% the way you want it to go. Like, it's just not going to happen. And if it does happen, that's great, but realistically that's not life. So you have to take the highs and the lows. You have to take, you know, take what you can get and like roll with that. Don't over expect, and then you won't be disappointed. And that's kind of the mindset that I had really throughout it. Like, I would have loved to spend more time with my friends in the run up to the wedding. Like, that's something that I really wish I could have done. I only got to have one evening with them all, really, when they tried on their bridesmaid dresses and stuff. But it is what it is. Like, that's reality of becoming an adult and everyone working full time and having busy lives. Like, that is just life. So, you know, could I have spent ages being upset about that? Yeah, I probably could have. Like, but you know, I didn't have like a bridal shower or that sort of thing. But is that the be all and end all for me? No. For some people, maybe. But for me, like, I was thinking, like, no. Is it the be all and end all? No. Like, do I still have friends who love me? Yes. Am I still gonna marry the person I want to marry? Yes. Like, alhamdulillah, like, that's what's important. So yeah, you just have to like look at the bigger picture and don't focus on what you know, what you're lacking. Focus on what you have. The last question before I end this video, because we are in Edinburgh now. Somebody asked, did you have a health or fitness routine leading up to the wedding? So basically, oh my gosh, you can tell we're in Edinburgh now because of these cobbled streets. Basically, I don't think I've actually spoken about this yet, so I'll talk about it now quickly. I decided to go on the S diet, which my mum found hilarious, but it actually is a really good lifestyle to live by. It's the reduced sugar, no snacking, no seconds diet, which you guys might be like, that's really not a diet, but it actually is, because everything you eat, you're thinking, right, has this got too much sugar in? If it has, I don't want it. When you are about to pick up that packet of crisps or packet of Skittles or whatever, you're like, no, I'm not going to snack. I'm actually just going to wait until my meal and really enjoy my meal. And then when you have your meal, you're going to eat till you're full, but not overeat your seconds. And actually that really helped me to like lose some weight in the beginning, because I knew I wanted to lose a little bit of weight to feel a bit more comfortable, especially with this whole, you know, hijab situation where I knew I was gonna have my chin out and stuff. Like, the problem that I had though, so like the first week was fine. I actually realized like how much I snacked. Like, I snacked so much, especially after work. Like, when the children go, I eat so badly. Like, I eat so many snacks, and then I come home like 6 o'clock and I'm like not even ready to eat dinner. But then so I'll eat like dinner a bit later, and then I was just overeating basically, and I was blaming stress and tiredness on it. But actually, like, that's just nonsense. So I did the S diet for a good, I would say like 3 weeks. The problem is I do deal with stress by eating. So that kind of was like not great in some instances when I just felt like I just needed to like eat loads of food. Then when it came to trying my dress on, like about 3 weeks before the wedding, it was a little bit tight, and I was like, oh my god, like, you know, I thought I was losing weight, like what the hell, like I thought I was gonna be like, I don't know, I thought it'd fit me really well, like when I went for the dress fitting, and it didn't. It was a little bit too tight, and I was a bit gutted. But honestly, then after that, like, naturally, I just lost weight. Like, literally the last 2 weeks before the wedding. It must have just been the stress, to be honest, but I just lost weight, and so I can't really help you that much with that. I think it was also the stress of work, to be honest with you. It wasn't just the stress of the wedding, it was also like working alongside, and they had assessment week, and it was like all this marking to do, and just a lot on my plate, whilst also thinking about the wedding and thinking about moving and all this other stuff and packing. And you know, there's so much to do when you're getting married, and it can get really overwhelming. So I just lost weight there. In terms of fitness, I did start sort of exercise, like trying to do like those 10-15 minute exercises, and like I brought myself a set of weights and stuff, but to be honest with you, like I wasn't at the perfect fitness level that I'd like to have been, but inshallah, like I'm going to be picking that up once we get back to work, back into a routine, once we've moved into our new little place, into our little apartment, inshallah. Then, you know, then inshallah I'm going to get myself into a routine. Right now we're just in post-wedding mode, so we're just, you know, I'm eating everything nice in Dundee. Yesterday we went to Glasgow, had steak for the first time. Today we're in Edinburgh, about to eat somewhere nice as well. You know, we're just enjoying life post-wedding. Both of us are kind of just indulging, but once we sort of get past this week, inshallah, then we're going to go back into being a bit stricter, because the Valimo is coming up soon, and I definitely don't want to not be able to fit into that dress, because that will be slightly awkward. So yeah, that's the end of the questions for this video. It's probably going to be super long. There are a good couple of other questions which I'm going to do in a more formal sitting down video. Obviously this one was handheld. I hope nobody's feeling sick at the end of watching this, because the camera has been moving. But yeah, we are going to now go to, do you know what restaurant we're going to? We're going to a Turkish restaurant in Istanbul in Edinburgh. So yeah, I will chat to you guys in a little bit. Definitely catch me on Instagram. That's where you can ask me questions, and I'll definitely always reply. And I will see you in my next video. Make sure you subscribe.